Good afternoon, everyone. So today I wanted to talk about how we talk to ourselves internally and how we think to ourselves, either about ourselves or about other people. Um, I think that has a really big impact on how we treat ourselves and how we treat other people. Um, I'll kind of start with how I came to this myself. I want to try to keep this fairly short, short enough that my one gig so bad upload speed can upload it anyway. In the middle of the mountains, I don't know what I expect. So about a year and 16 months or so after I originally got sick, I was still having a really hard time rehabbing. My lungs were still really crappy. um, I went and met with my new doctor about some back pain I'd been having. For those of you who have ever had an epidural or a lumbar puncture or anything done with your spine, I felt like someone was literally trying to give me an epidural, like that pressure you feel in your spine. Um, and if you don't, that's the best way I can describe it, is like someone is pressing into your spine and there's a pressure there. And it was really uncomfortable. Like I couldn't get comfortable. I was shifting my position, laying down didn't help, sitting up didn't help. So I thought it was my back. Started around Super Bowl Sunday of that year of 2017. Sorry, I get dates a little mixed up sometimes. So anyway, um, I met with my new doctor about my back. She's an NP that I had seen take care of my husband. I really liked that she looked globally at things. She didn't just focus on what you were there for. And I knew that that was the type of person that I needed. So I was having to transfer my healthcare from Massachusetts to New Hampshire because my insurance had been in Mass when I was able to work, and it had ended, and I was on a New Hampshire plan that I couldn't see my doctors in Mass anymore. So I had to start using doctors up here in New Hampshire. So I asked her. Her practice was actually full. She took me on, and I had a new patient appointment scheduled, but it wasn't for a while. So anyway, I made, one of those like urgent visit appointments, and I went in about my back, and we started talking about my other stuff, and she wanted to do a CAT scan on my lungs. Because a CAT scan, in the 16 months I'd been having breathing issues, no one had ever done a CAT scan. We had done tons of other things. Please don't think my doctors weren't trying. They totally were. We had done a bunch of other things. They didn't feel like a CAT scan was going to show them anything different. And she felt like, what's the harm in trying? Let's do it. So we got a CAT scan of my lungs, and it cut off just at the top of my abdomen, which is common. Your lungs and your abdomen are very close to each other. And it happened to catch the top of my pancreas, and I had a mass on the tail of my pancreas. And as a nurse, when she called me with those results, she was very concerned, and was referring me to the head of the pancreatic cancer clinic at Dartmouth. I was 36 years old. I just turned 36. I'd already had all these health issues going on since I had just turned 35. I mean, I'm too young to be, quote unquote, having this stuff happen. So talk about a wake-up call, though, because it was, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks before I could get in with my doctor up at Dartmouth now. So those 3 or 4 weeks, we really thought I very likely had cancer, pancreatic cancer. And that's, if you know anything about pancreatic cancer, that's a little scary. And even as a nurse, I looked up all the different types of masses you could find on the tail and the size that it was and all that. And it was a very slim chance it was going to be anything but. And if it was a very slim chance of a more than 1 year morbidity. So it made me really reevaluate my life and how I was doing things. And even though I was already, not working and trying my best that I could at the time for my health, it really made me realize that it was time to wake up and do something more. And what was I doing that wasn't, the best thing for me? So I knew I had been depressed. I had been trying, to just deal with things on my own because, I was fine. There was nothing anybody could tell me. So I got on Psychology Today. I found a therapist that uses Western and Eastern medicine. I found a therapist that dealt with people who were specifically caregivers who had run into disabilities and or illnesses themselves or had burnt out or whatever. I found someone that was perfect for me. And she really was perfect for me. So she started, showing me that all of this love, all of this care, all of this energy that I have been putting towards other people, I needed to start putting back towards myself. And not to say that, don't take care of your family, don't take care of, the people you love, but my body was telling me to stop. My body was telling me it was time to pay attention to myself. And one of the first things she had to get through to me, I guess, was to love myself and to change the way I was thinking about myself, about the world, about my illness. And I'm sorry, I have a Holter monitor on and I'm looking at the camera and realizing that my stickers are coming off. These two hate me and they did not give me enough to replace them. I don't know what to tell them. Anyway, back on topic. So what she really did show me was, I would mess something up or I would be sick for the day and really my body could not physically do things some days. And instead of admonishing myself for that or judging myself for that or making myself feel worse because I can't get up and do the things I want to do for my family, I can't get up and clean the house, I can't get up and do the laundry, I can't get up and I'm not getting better. Instead of judging myself for that, making myself feel worse, I started to remind myself that I was sick and there was a reason I wasn't working. There was a reason I wasn't able to do these things, and that was okay. And it was okay to take the day to rest. It's okay to take the day to sleep if you need to. It's okay to take time to let your body rejuvenate the way that it needs to. And then the days that you feel good, you get up and you do it again. And that's what I started to do. The days that I felt like I could, I got up and I did what I could. I really started listening to my body. I really started listening to, if something hurt, why? Why did it hurt? Had I done something? If I was getting chest pain or dizzy, which is why I have the Holter monitor on, those are some of my symptoms. I was actually diagnosed yesterday. I do have an official diagnosis. It's something I will share later publicly, but the Holter monitor is to see if there's any cardiac reason for the dizziness or the chest pain. But those are things that I would get if I overdid it. So really started listening to my body to see where are my limits and where can I push things and where do I need to take the time to rest. If I messed something up or if I couldn't do something, I stopped telling myself that made me a horrible human being. And I started telling myself that I knew I was a good mom. I knew I was a good friend. I knew I was a good wife. I knew I was a good person. I know I'm a hard worker. I'm not someone who chooses to be disabled. I am someone who is disabled because I've had a genetic condition since birth. What I have is genetic. And I have been fighting my entire life against my body telling me to stop until my body, when I was 3 days shy of turning 35, said enough's enough. If you're not going to stop, we're going to make you. And it hit my breathing so that I would stop. The universe made me pay attention to myself. And for that first, 16 months, I tore myself apart for it. I tore myself apart internally for it. And even though mine's physical, there are other people out there that I've spoken to who have, psychological things. There are other people out there who have been through traumas in their life. There are other people out there that just don't have the tools to handle life the way that I am very lucky to have had a super supportive family. I'm very lucky to have had a decent psychological base. I don't have, anything major psychologically wrong. I do have depression. I do have anxiety. It's fairly new since, all this started. I think there were things in the past, but not that weren't, unmanageable. When all this started, the depression, the anxiety really took over because I wasn't listening to myself. And that's what I had to learn to do, is to stop and listen to myself. And when I started doing that, when I started telling myself it was okay to not be perfect, is when I finally started to heal. When my body finally started to heal. When my soul finally started to heal. About 9 months ago, I had to make a very difficult decision for my body, for my mind, for my soul, for my best health. And I had to make a major life change in order to continue to heal to the point that I'm at now. And I would not be able to be here without the people who have been holding space for me to do that, loving me regardless and understanding that that's what I needed. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that from those people, from my friends, from my family, from my husband, from my children, to know that the person that I was not someone that would choose the path that I've had to take in order to get here. And that if I did it, I was doing it so that I could be the best version of myself again, for myself and for them. And that, I feel like, is what's finally happening, or has finally happened. But I had to start somewhere. I had to do something. And what worked for me may not work for you. You may need to be on meds. I'm not on any meds. I was lucky enough that even with, the depression, anxiety stuff, just reshaping my thoughts about stuff is what has truly worked and helped me. That might not work for everybody. I luckily wasn't in a place where I was so bad off psychologically that, just being able to just really have the space and time to focus on myself correctly is what helped me. If I mess something up, instead of telling myself something, I'm not even, thank God, I'm alone most of the time because I know I would look like a crazy person. We all are human. We all have our, differences. So I, would mess something up, or I'd forget to do something, or I'd, screw something up, and I'd go, oh my God, you're so freaking stupid, or you're whatever. And I'd stop and I'd say out loud, you are not a stupid person. You were a critical care nurse. You graduated high school at 16. And I'm not trying to be cool. These are facts. I'm just dealing off of facts. I don't think that I'm cool. I'm no better than anybody else. But I knew that I wasn't a stupid person. I wasn't being mindful, or I messed something up, because I'm a human being. And that's okay. And we forget that about ourselves. And we forget that about each other. And we rejudge ourselves, and we rejudge each other, and we take things personally that have nothing to do with us. Sometimes someone's treating you like crap because they're having a bad day, because they're hurting in some way. And instead of saying to them, wow, you're an asshole, I'm not going to talk to you, or I'm going to treat you like crap, maybe we need to stop and go, are you okay? This isn't normally how you are. Are you having a bad day? Are you hurting? Are you sick? Stop and ask yourself, are they being human right now? Because you know what? I have the biggest heart in the world. I truly love humanity. I truly love people. I truly believe that 95% of the world means well. I think how we come off to each other. And sometimes because we are so stressed out and we don't have the time to be mindful, even people like me can come off as an asshole. And I'm not an asshole. I know that I'm not an asshole. The people who know me know that I'm not an asshole. But I have days where I am exhausted, or I'm tired, or don't feel well, that I can be an asshole. I'm a human. You're a human. All of the people around you are humans. Start treating each other a little better. Start treating yourself a little better. Start thinking, when you are thinking something, is that truly the truth? Or are you taking something personally? Are you making an assumption about how they're, why? Or is it a fact that you know? If it's a fact, that is different. If it is an assumption, or it's something that you're maybe taking personally, or maybe you're having a bad day and you're being overly sensitive. We're all human. Stop. Take a deep breath. De-stress if you need to de-stress, and ask yourself if how you're reacting to yourself and other people is truly what the situation warrants. Treat yourself better. Talk to yourself better. No one. I think there are truly very few assholes out there that are true assholes all the time. Don't get me wrong. I've run into a few. But I know that it's not because that person is probably an asshole. It's probably because that person is hurting in a way that I can't fix them, because you can't fix another human being. They have to do it themselves. No one else could fix me when I was depressed. No one else could fix me when I felt like my body had betrayed me. No one else could fix me when I was angry at the rest of the world for not realizing what they have in a whole healthy body. I had to take a step back on my own, rework my thinking, I can't even speak. Anyway, rework my thinking and make it what it needed to be again to make me happy, healthy, whole. I don't take things personally when people do things. I hold space for people. I don't judge people. On my bad days, do I have days where I do stuff like some of those things? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm not perfect. No one is. So stop not allowing yourself to be human. Stop overstressing yourself and your body to the point where you can't be the person you want to be. Start talking to yourself like you would talk to a child. And I know you're not a child. I get it. I wasn't a child, but you would never talk to a child the way that you talk to yourself sometimes. So start treating yourself better. Start treating each other better. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. I hope this helped you in any way that it could. I have some great book suggestions. I have some great resource suggestions for de-stressing. I have a few favorites. If you guys are interested, let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all later. Bye.